Hi, I'm Paul Newey. Was on the committee between 2002 and 2007 inclusive, so 6 years. I first got involved with the business club about 1997, I think. We had a consultant working at Newey and printers at that stage, and we weren't doing any networking at all. And he said, you really need to start networking. So he was a member of the business club, took me along, and I liked it, and I've been there ever since, basically. I'd been going a couple of years, and my friend Meg Purser was elected to the committee. And she was out on there 2 or 3 months from recollection. Someone resigned or moved out of the district or something like that. And she said, I've got someone who I think would be a good fit. So she invited me to put my hand up, and I did, and they accepted me. The contribution I made was like any other committee member. You just did your work. You helped the president. In those days, it was a horrendous job being president. Not that everyone disliked it, but we had to find a speaker every single week of the year. Except for Christmas and Easter and a couple of long weekends. It was about 42 or 43 speakers a year, and that was a lot of work. And I must admit, most of it fell under the presidency, but the committee backed him up, or her up all the way, so it was good fun. Some of my memories, some funny ones were, we used to have the committee meetings at the Newcastle Workers Club, because the secretary of the business club at that stage was the secretary of the Workers Club. Can't for the life of me remember his name, a long time ago. But it was held in their boardroom. Now, room, I use that lightly because it was an area. You would have had a party of 50 in there, it was so big. But I remember walking up the stairs, opening up the door of the first meeting, and there was this huge table full of food and alcohol. It was amazing. There was a dozen bottles of beer and wine everywhere and food. And I walked in, I went, I said to someone, has this been a function up here or something? He said, no, that's for us. And I couldn't believe it. There was 8 of us and 80,000 things to eat. So we had a lot of good memories in that boardroom that year. The meetings were good. And another one I do remember, it was the immediate past president's birthday. And I walked in and there was this huge cake on the boardroom table. I said, it's such and such birthday. And I said, oh yeah. And they said, yeah, we rang him this afternoon and he's definitely coming. And he doesn't know anything about it, so it's going to be a real surprise. Well, he didn't turn up, did he? So at the end of the night, we had this massive cake that someone had made specially, and we didn't know what to do with it because it was so big you couldn't take it home. We had nothing to take it home with. So we just left it there, shut off the doors and just went out. It's probably still there. And there was another funny instance I do remember. We used to have the annual awards at the art gallery. Externally in those days, and had to buy tickets for them and all that sort of stuff. And at one of the lunchtime meetings, it must have been close to the awards, the president was talking about the awards and how you can get tickets and blah blah blah, and he said that David Banny from the conservatorium was going to supply the music that night. He had a little ensemble, an orchestra of 8 or 9 violins and a couple of cellos. We went, okay, fine. And David happened to be at that meeting. He got up and he said, look, we want to do something a little bit different on that night. We want to get 2 people out of the audience today to join the orchestra. And, okay, fine. Show of hands, please. No one put their hand up. I was sitting next to a lovely lady named Heather Queeran, and she's still a good friend, so she won't mind me mentioning this. She said, I'll do it. I said, okay. And she said, and Paul Newey will do it as well. I went, thanks, Heather. Great. So David came to us after the meeting and said, look, we've got a rehearsal next Thursday at 3 o'clock, whatever. Can you make it at the con? I said, yeah, okay. So I went there, and Heather got given a clapper. Clap, 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 clap. If you knew Heather's personality, she was just in her realm. She was unreal. I got given a triangle. Ding, ding, ding. So, okay. So he said, David said, look, we know what we're doing. We'll just train you guys up. So he said, we'll come in the second stanza. We'll just do, when I nod to you, you come in, and when I nod, you come out, blah, blah, blah. And okay, fine. I had never heard of this piece of music. It was just something I was totally foreign with. I still don't know what it was. I can't remember. And after we ran through it 2 or 3 times, he said, okay, that's it. And I remember walking out with Heather and saying, I'm not really comfortable with this, Heather. I really don't know what I'm doing. She said, don't worry about it. It'll be okay in the night. Okay, fine. So the night came, at the end of the night, and David called us up, gave Heather the clappers, bing, 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 bing. Unbeknownst to anybody else, Heather had had a few drinks that night. She was hilarious. She got up there and she's going, when my baby smiles, clack, clack, clack. It was hilarious. And David Benny sort of going, what is this, you know? And the orchestra's like, and I still had no idea what I was doing. So David was just saying, well, we'll do this bit. And Heather's going, yeah, she's going like this, and just what you shouldn't do in an orchestra. And the whole audience was just cracking themselves up laughing. I still had no idea, so David was nodding like this and nodding like this and going like this, but Heather and I were together and I didn't know whether he was nodding at me or Heather. So I completely mucked up my part all night. I'll never forget the look that David Benny had on his face. He went, he was really angry. But Heather nailed it and she was hilarious. So I got away with it thanks to Heather. My biggest memory of the committee was that in those days we had to find a speaker every single week, except for some weeks at Christmas and Easter and everything, and it was a horrendous job. And I take my hat off to all those presidents in my era that did that, because it was just horrendous. And it wasn't easy, and some weeks the speaker would say at Monday afternoon, say, oh, sorry, I can't make it, and we'd have to find a speaker within 18, 19 hours. And the committee did help with speakers, there's no doubt about that, but 90% of that came through the president. It was really a full-time job. And it got to the stage in the end, about 2007 or so, where we were finding it a little bit hard to fill the room every week because there were just so many other networking groups starting up in those days, because we were really the only one. And every week, people just couldn't find the time to get to a meeting every week. So I think a couple of years after I was off the committee, they changed it to every month, and now they fill the room virtually every week. And it's a lot more accessible. I do remember, funnily enough, we had arguments or confrontations with the Harbour View because they wanted to put the meals up to $25 a head. Oh, we couldn't do that. People won't do that. Oh. And now, of course, what were we thinking? Times changed, as simple as that. There was some great presidents. There were no great bad committees, no bad presidents. It was just a wonderful time. Favourite people just to work with. Each had their own style. Some let a meeting run, some chaired the meeting. It was just a great time. We had a lot of fun. And worked hard, but it was a lot of fun.
Visit www.newcastlebusinessclub.com.au to learn more.